Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Congressperson Gomert, Vice President Pence, and the suit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a congressperson from Texas, Gomert, and some Republicans from Arizona filed suit in federal court in front of a Trump appointed judge against Vice President Pence in hopes of getting that judge to declare that Pence has sole authority as to whether or not to accept or reject the electoral votes as certified by the states. As you might imagine, this case was dismissed, along with all of the other cases that have been brought. And while it's entertaining that this happened, there is something in the ruling that I think that we should kind of take note of. The judge wrote, plaintiffs presuppose what the vice president will do on January 6th, which electoral votes the vice president will count or reject from contested states, whether a representative and a senator will object under Section 15 of the Electoral Count Act, how each member of the House and Senate will vote on any such objections, and how each state delegation in the House would potentially vote under the 12th Amendment absent a majority electoral vote. If you have been hearing about this idea that Pence is just going to toss the votes he doesn't like, those are the steps that have to occur before we get to that point. And that's not even a point in the line, in the chart, that point doesn't exist. But all of this has to happen first. And it all has to go a certain way. As the judge says, all that makes Congressman Gomert's alleged injury far too uncertain to support standing. Which means what you're going to hear is that the judge didn't rule on the merits of the case, just that the person who brought the case didn't have the legal standing to bring it. And this has become a fun talking point lately. I would just point out that if you can't prove that you have standing, it's highly unlikely that you're going to win the case. Just throwing that out there. It should be noted that Pence asked the court to reject it, as did the House. At the same time, that list of events that has to go down just so for this to even matter, that's worth noting. Because you still have people in the Republican Party who either through actual loyalty to Trump or a desire to perform for Trump's base are willing to not just entertain ideas like this, but to file a suit in federal court, knowing that it's going to be rejected. Trump appointee or not, it's got rejected. I would point out that the case was dismissed without prejudice. Now, what that means is that if Gomert and company can reframe this argument in another way, sometime in the next few days, it can go back before the court. That seems unlikely, but it's possible. So you will probably hear about that. And as we draw closer to the 6th, there will be more and more wild claims that come from those who cannot accept Trump's defeat. So just be prepared for him. I have yet to hear of any situation that seems even remotely plausible that would alter the outcome of this election. They all hinge on stuff like this. It's going to be very hard for them to even get standing, and that doesn't mean that the judges are dodging the cases. That means that the attorneys couldn't even get their act together enough to prove that they had the ability to sue. So while it does appear that President Trump is headed out the door, it is worth noting that there is still a faction of the Republican Party that is either loyal to him or desperately in need of his base, so they will pretend to be. And this doesn't change simply because McConnell definitely has the upper hand in the Trump-McConnell power struggle. The effects of Trump inside the Republican Party are going to be felt for a while. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.